Thank you.
Gossip. I will start with Barcelona, who have now made a deal worth 40 million euros for those games. That was significantly stated to the Bavarians. As a fan who happens to be one of the heir of the Bavarian hierarchy and taken that, with respect to the Polish super striker who back in training when he was in Europe. And we're also hearing rumors and speculation that he eventually needs a Bayern.
Good light now, okay? Good luck.
Fine.
The goals have not played in the and also we have Anthony from last season.
Should I begin?
You cannot start.
Okay.
Where's Kofi?
Alex.
Kofi can start.
Okay.
No, Kofi should start. Later,
Okay.
Joseph will take over.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, all. Good morning, dear Professor Boria Charles, our IIU African heads, and the Nigerian country director. Good morning, representative of IIU office here. Greeting to all the speakers and other colleagues that are following us, everyone following us from every corner of the world. Greeting to you all. It is just it's such a great pleasure for me today to take this opportunity and moderate the beginning of this section. I am Dr. Kofi Abochi. I'm the IIU director. So a warm welcome to all of you. It's a privilege to welcome you to IIU African Continent Virtual Conference on Gender, Equity, and Social Justice. This is organized by the International Internship University African Team, and this is the first global virtual university offering quality, accessible, and local location-independent education around all areas of the globe. So right now, before we start everything, let's pray. We ask Professor Charles Boria to give the opening prayer and also to continue with announcement or the introduction of this section. Please, Professor, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, my able moderator and country director, Togo. It's a pleasure meeting us once again today. We invite our Lord Jesus Christ, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit to impart into us all the wisdom we need to propagate peace in the global world. We pray that the Holy Spirit will direct us, take over all the speakers, take over the moderatorship, take over every activities here, so that every one of us we have a BPT talk and we bless today. Thank you very much. Right now, my opening speech. IIU, the world's first virtual international internship university, is the change, brings the change, and is the revolution in the education. Kudos and greetings to our amiable founder, Dr. Ambassador Pandi, the co-founder, trustee, and all the board members and working family and team of IIU. Greetings to all listening to me. The blessings and peace of God will continue to rest upon us, both now and forevermore. Amen. Today, in the month of our conference, June 2022, will be discussing on gender, equity, and social justice. This is what we need in our present dispensation to bring about global peace. Thank you. our standard, giving us this opportunity to always showcase IIU Africa. In order to sustain our future, there is need to always emphasize on gender, equity, and social justice, so as to achieving desired development outcome of increased population, improved outcomes for poverty alleviation, increased well-being for all, and a fair distribution of body and benefit in agriculture among women and men. A gender equal society is a society in which both men and women as equal members have the opportunity to participate in all kinds of social activities at will, equally enjoy both political, economical, cultural benefits, and share responsibilities. In such a society, the human rights of men and women are equally. Gender and social inclusion stroke justice analysis seeks to map the context against which different groups experience violence and rights violations, and in turn have them dealt with. It identifies key players, institutions, and social influences, and try to explain existing and potential future needs, trends. Social justice and equity is the act of supporting all groups of people within a society, recognizing their value and importance, and helping them achieve their full potential. Social equity is the fair, just, and equitable management of all institutions serving the public. Gender equity puts the focus on fairness and justice regarding benefits and needs for men and women, girls and boys. Equity is used, for example, within the education, health, and humanitarian sectors, referring to equal distribution of resources based on the needs of different groups of people. Gender mainstreaming is a strategy to improve the quality of public policies, programs, and projects, ensuring a more efficient allocation of resources. Better result means increased well-being for both women and men, and the creation of a more socially just and sustainable society. I will advise, in order to create a more social, just, and sustainable society, we should uphold gender mainstreaming. Gender mainstreaming is an approach to policy making that takes into account both women and men's interests and concerns. The concept of gender mainstreaming was first introduced at the 1985 Nairobi World Conference on Women. It was established as a strategy in international gender equality policy through the Beijing Platform for Action, adopted at the 1995 Fourth United Nations in Beijing, and subsequently adopted as a tool to promote gender equity at all levels. In 1998, the Council of Europe defined gender mainstreaming as the organization improvement, development, and evaluation of policy processes, so that a gender equality perspective is incorporated in all policy at all levels and at all stages by the actors normally involved in policy making. Within this development, What then is gender mainstreaming? It is the integrating a gender equality perspective at all stages and levels of program. Women and men have different needs and living conditions and circumstances, including unequal access to and control over power, resources, human rights, and education, including the just system. The situation of women and men also differ according to country, region, age, ethnic, and social origin, and other factors. The aim of gender mainstreaming is to take into account these differences when designing, implementing, and evaluating policy, programs, and projects, so that they benefit both women and men and do not increase inequality, but enhance gender equality. Gender mainstreaming aims to solve sometimes hidden gender inequalities. It is therefore a tool for achieving gender equality. Why gender mainstreaming? Several studies have shown that gender inequalities as such have direct causes. In many cases, public policies have been based on the needs of the dominant group in society or on the needs of those who have traditionally been the decision makers, mostly men. The women's rights movement and increased presence of women in decision making, strong commitment to women's human rights at all levels, and the development of gender studies and the segregated data have all helped unveiling the fact that public policies often did not take into account men's diverse needs and situation. This may lead to inappropriate solutions and an inadequate allocation of public funds. Therefore, gender mainstreaming is an inclusive strategy aimed at integrating the needs of all people. How to implement gender mainstreaming? Gender equality issues need to be mainstreamed at all stages of policy making or project programming, but it is especially important to take into account at the planning stage when the problems, concerns, and needs of the beneficiaries are identified and the way to address them are defined. Therefore, gender analysis and gender impact assessment are crucial tools for gender mainstreaming. These tools support the practical implementation of gender mainstreaming. Other factors are equally important to ensure proper gender mainstreaming, such as political will, commitment to and awareness of gender equality issues, knowledge, resources, including expertise and availability of information. Note, gender mainstreaming is a responsibility of all actors and is relevant for all policy areas that deals with the need of people and at all levels. Policy areas which at first sight do not seem relevant might contain hidden aspects of gender inequality. Finally, gender mainstreaming is a long-term strategy that goes hand in hand with specific policies for the advancement of women. It is a transformative approach with a great potential for social change. It will interest us to know that we need the effectiveness of a dual approach towards gender equality, combining gender mainstreaming and specific measure for the advancement of women to ensure better policy making and better use of resources. Such dual approach is also implemented in the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which include a standalone goal on gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls, SDG Goal 5, as well as gender sensitive targets in other goals. Note, the global goal and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development seek to end poverty and hunger, realize the human rights of all, achieve gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls, and ensure the lasting protection of the planet and its natural resources. At this junction, I would like to emphasize that we have our able resources, personnel who are experts in the field of our topic to come forward to buttress this so as to have meaningful conference. Thank you very much, IIU, for giving us this opportunity to showcase our experience as regards the development of peace globally. We pray that God will continue to strengthen us and empower us. Thank you very much. God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. This is a wonderful introduction to our topic of today. Thank you so much for enlightening us at the beginning of this conference. I am Alex Koleji. Sorry for the delay. I'm here to moderate with Joseph Obeng from Ghana, and we are fully in the topic of today already with this introduction. So without delay, let me present IIU to you. The members of the IIU. So it's my honor to introduce the team IIU, the strong support of IIU, who all are working consistently to achieve the vision and mission of IIU by bringing the new era of education all over the globe. The inspiration of IIU, Sri Danji Swami Ji Maharaj, his blessings and guidance in every endeavor of IIU are stimulating. Trustees of IIU, Ms. Roshani Lal, Ms. Anju Pandit, visionary founder and COO of IIU, Piyush Pandit, the man behind the success of IIU. Now the co-founders, Mr. Steven V, who is one of the co-founders of IIU Australia, Dr. Satnam Duchaka, co-founder IIU UK, and Ona Anjia, co-founder IIU Indonesia. And the executive board members of IIU are as follows: Ms. Corina Sujia, Dr. Kalyani Rao, Ms. Nada Ratkovic, Croatia, and Mr. Prakash Lal Dechaka, UK. The President Council, you have Dr. Pratibha Mishra, India, Advisory Board, Dr. Satnam Duchaka, UK Honorary Degree Board, Dr. Prashi Gaur, India, HR and Training and Country Director, India IIU, Dr. N.D. Machu, India Research and Development Board. Then we have the Board of Directors of IIU, Dr. Singda Kadam, Dr. Alisa White, Dr. Prachi Gaur, and Professor Dr. Chaplain General Eboria Usiolo Charles, Continent Head, Africa, IIU. It is a great pleasure to introduce all this team that are wonderfully working for the success of IIU to you all. Now, what do you know about the IIU? The IIU is an international internship university, and it's building a better and brighter future for all young learners, and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe. IIU is metamorphosing the conventional education system by cutting down the additional costs and providing access to more than 1,000 and plus courses and internships to the e-learners across the globe. IIU has been accredited and affiliated with the World Education Organization, WEO, and the International Accreditation Organization, IEO, and collaborated with all the world's top universities and educational institutions through the platform of Massive Open Online Courses, MOOC. IIU provides various certificates, including diploma, graduation, post-graduation diploma, post-graduation courses, and honorary doctorates. IIU has received many accreditations as per international standards for its innovation, videos, research, and white papers publication. International Internship University is building a better and brighter future for all young learners and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe. The IIU Council presents IIU Work, Women Entrepreneur Council, IIU ISDC, International Student Development Council, and IIU IYDC, International Youth Development Council, and IIU International Council for Educators. So IIU Work is giving an opportunity to every woman, and particularly with this topic, okay, empowering them on the globe to witness the uncultivated talents within her to be the successful women entrepreneur. By joining IIU Women Entrepreneurs Council, women's empowerment is empowering women in all walks of life. So dear women present here and others that will join, be the part of the International Internship University Women Entrepreneurs Council to recognize you as an entrepreneur. So IIU, ISDC, nation's future depend on students, the youth. So Students Council helps to raise funds for school, college-wide activities, including social events, community projects, helping people in need, and school reform. IIU, IYDC, the youth comes but once in a life. According to Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, youth is not defined by age or type. It is defined by social energy and nature mind. So program focuses on developing young minds and their one-time opportunity of lifetime achievement. Knowledge and education are the basis for all things that can be accomplished in life. IIU ICE recognizes the contribution of educators all over the world in the fields of education and welcomes them to change the lives of many more by imparting quality education and spreading knowledge worldwide. So let's now present, if it is available, the video of MOOC promotional, whether it's available. Mr. Dr. Abuchi, is it available, that movie, that video for us?
I'm not sure. So
okay.
let's
Then can we introduce the first speaker? Is she available?
I can't see her online.
Okay. Dr. Patricia Conde, can you see her online?
Call her and see. I don't know. You can call her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then I think you start with Dr. Buchi, and after that you see those who are available, and then we present them. So our first speaker today is going to be Dr. Buchi Kofi, specialist of American Studies from the University of Lomé, Togo. He is a part-time teacher of English and Literature at the Department of English and the Advanced School of Biological and Food Processing Techniques, Esteban, Université de Lomé. He also teaches translation at the Institut Supérieur des Langues et des Affaires, ISLA, Advanced Institute of Languages and Business, Lomé. With a doctorate degree in American Literature, April 2019, from the Université de Lomé, where he previously got a master's degree in American Literature, July 2014, and a bachelor degree in 2010. He's mostly concerned with social justice issues, especially promoting education and fighting inequalities among humans. That's justice to the topic of today, which is equality and gender equity. In this vein, he joined the Cheerful Child and Youth CCY Enfants et Jeunesse Épanouie, in which he holds the position of General Secretary and the head of the language department. In 2017, he was appointed the country director of the International Model Diplomats for Integrated Development, IMDID, in which he has served his community in organizing trainings and conferences both on national scene and the international one. In October 2017, he attended the 19th World Festival of Youth and Students in Moscow and Sochi, Russia. Consequently, he organized in August 2019 the Global Youth Diplomacy Conference at Parliament, Togo, with an audience coming from 10 African countries. Still, with the vision of promoting social justice and an equal opportunity for all, he seized the opportunity in October 2019, to be the moderator of the first international generational dialogue of global peace, Lomé Togo. He joined Earth Regenerative Project, Sierra Leone, in July 2020, and is currently the Togo ambassador. His current positions include country director for International Internship University, IIU, and country coordinator of Global Education Network. You have here introduced Dr. Abuchi to you. Dr. Abuchi Kofi, you have the floor to present your.
Thank you, dear moderator. Good morning, all. My sincere gratitude again to Professor Eboria Charles for the trust he had on me and for associating me with all that we've been doing on the African continent. Thank you so much, Professor, for this trust. It's very, very important for me, and it's encouraging me to follow in your footsteps and to move forward. I would like to again say a big thank to the IIU main office, especially the founder, Dr. Pandit Piyush, for this brilliant idea to put in place this university, IIU, and to associate us people from all corners of the world to be part of the university and to make education more affordable to all on the globe. Thank you, and thank you to all the speakers that are present here. We are glad you're here, and we hope this session will be very, very instructive and useful for all. And yes, I'm Dr. Kofi Aboti. I'm a specialist of American studies. So during my master's paper writing, I did a lot of research, and mainly on gender and social justice. In my studies, I realized that gender issues are very crucial in our society, and it's also a divisive subject because society kind of got divided into two. It's a bit natural, a natural division. We have males and we have females, and a society get organized around this theory we call, or this system we call patriarchy. And with patriarchy, men tend to gain more power and oppress women through this system we call traditional gender roles. With the traditional gender roles, men, and just because they are born men or males, have more power over women. There are roles that are particularly attributed to them, which women cannot play. And these roles set in place by men themselves diminish women. So such roles like a man, when we talk about working and feeding the family is the responsibility of men. Men are allowed or are supposed to go out, work and bring money. Men are supposed to be leaders in society. Men are supposed to play key roles. Men are supposed to rule, to do other key jobs or to play key roles in society. Whereas women are supposed to be in the kitchen, to do housework. They are not allowed to play key role in some societies, some communities in the world. Even until now, there are some countries that are still reluctant to elect female leaders as presidents. We even have the case of the United States. And you see that one female candidate, or the last female candidate we know is Hillary Clinton. She was, the feeling in American society, or the sentiment we have there is people are not ready to elect a female president. And we have this in some other countries, even in France, we have the case of the Front National leader, and even before that, the socialist leader was also a female. So many countries are still not ready to elect women, not because they are not capable, not because they are not strong, not because there's something lacking in their body or physical disposition or in their mind, but just because society views women as naturally weak and not fit for such positions. So this is the manifestation of gender roles. And in my research, I got this point, or it was obvious that we are not born with any gender role. Gender roles are just creations of society. These are products of patriarchy, because of course we are born either with a male sex or a female sex, but this disposition does not infer or does not give any such role to anyone to play. So in my reading of John Steinbeck's The Grace of Wrath, Steinbeck is an American novelist, a great writer of the 20th century. His masterpiece is called The Grace of Wrath, published in 1939 in California. Steinbeck, in this novel, seemed to empower a female character called Marjorie. And this woman played a key role in her writing. She was a leader. She was a strong force in the family. She was the one who unites everyone. She will always fight against the disintegration of the family. So I came to the realization that Steinbeck did this on purpose, to show society, or to show people that women also are capable of playing important roles in society, that their place is not only at the kitchen or at home, but when given the opportunity, women can prove to be capable leaders. And as a matter of fact, we have nowadays women who are playing key roles in some countries and some international organizations. We have Brazil, which elected a woman as a president. We have Liberia in Africa here, who elected a woman as a president. We have Germany, who elected a woman as a chancellor, a leader. England also, who elected Margaret Thatcher as a prime minister. We have many other cases, some of international organizations which have been led, or some are still being led by women. So again, it's a true fact that the assumption or the opinion according to which women are not supposed to play key role, to play leadership roles, is a misconception, and it's not helping society at all. All citizens, all members of society must be given equal chances. That's what gender role is about. It's not to tell people everybody is equal, everybody is equal. No, like, we need to have equal chances. If a woman is running as president, she must be trusted as a woman, as a human. And we vote for her not just because she's a woman, but we should not vote against her just because she's a woman. Being a woman does not infer any role on someone, does not show that a person will be able to play any role or not. So any person, a woman and a man, can play any role if they have the necessary skills to play that role. So the goal of gender discussion is to bring people's attention on this, because some people have even taken it for granted as like a God-given power to men to be key actors, to play key roles, and the women are supposed to stay at the kitchen, which is not good. And even in religion, and I even want to stress on this, in religion, many a time we see that women are not allowed to play key roles, or even they are not considered as men in many religions. Some cannot pray together with women or with men, or in other places they cannot be leaders in their churches, which we must revise, because I personally think that women are capable leaders. When we give them the chance, they prove to be capable leaders, and they do their best. So once again, gender issues must be revisited. I call on all societies, all communities around the globe to revisit gender role issues. People must not be given roles depending on their gender. Even nowadays, when we are talking about gender equality, and some governments are just making it mandatory to give more roles to women just because they are women, I think that one also is another issue that must be maybe discussed, debated, and corrected. Because when people are capable, whether they are men or women, they must be allowed to play any role for the benefits of all, for the benefits of our society. So I would not want to monopolize the floor, because we have many speakers today. But before we finish, both my master's paper and my doctorate dissertation are on gender issues, and I also wrote 2 articles on gender. One that is Gender, the Misfortune of Women, in which I highlight the points according to which many women suffer all kinds of discrimination because they are women. In the 20th century, many women wanted to do medicine or some studies in university, and they were not allowed just because they were women. And people say, how can a woman study medicine and some other domains? Thank you all for listening to me, and I hope together we can make the world a better place to be for all by revisiting these gender roles. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Abuchi. Thank you for sharing this with us. What I get from this is that gender roles are not natural. They are socially based production, sharing of roles. So thank you very much, and we work hard to try to fight this inequality among genders. Is Dr. Ambassador Karishma around? Dr. Abuchi, can you confirm that for me, please? Is she connected?
I can't tell.
Okay.
I can't tell, but I know.
Connected either.
I know that Takrucha is here, so maybe you can just call.
Let me see the next.
The next is Dr. Takrucha.
Okay, then I will let Isaac introduce. No, the next speaker is Professor Ravinda Rina. Unless it's not available, yes, on my program here, Dr. Ravinda. If it's not available, then we can go to Dr.
Kuche. As you might be leaving, the other speakers can join at any time. So unless
you
introduce this one, before you leave.
All right. Then
So
let me,
Isaac Oben will continue from.
okay, I'll leave him. Okay, then let me do the up to 9 something. So I think that Professor Ravinda is not yet around. So let me introduce Dr. Klute very fast, and then we move with the program. So our next speaker is Dr. Biava Kojo Klute. He's a senior lecturer, a distinguished scholar, literature advisor, motivational speaker with over 10 years of teaching and research experience in Africa. He's an independent consultant. Dr. Klute Biava Kojo is currently working as a senior lecturer of literature and language at the Faculty of Arts and Humanities of the Université de Kara in Togo. He serves as the Dean of Studies at Institut Supérieur des Langues et des Affaires of Lomé. He also serves as an associate head of Arts and Humanities Master's Program at Université de Kara. Previously, he worked as an assistant professor at Université de Lomé at the Department of English. He obtained his BA, MA from Université de Kara and his MPhil and PhD at the Université de Lomé. He has just been granted an LLB from Université de Kara. He published 17 articles in reputed national and international peer-reviewed journals. He is the current president of the Association of Lecturers who study young people from poverty and ignorance. He is also the CEO of Biava Expertise, a translation firm in Togo. He supervised 8 master's and 8 bachelor theses. He serves many academic and professional committees as a chairperson and as a panel member. He is also an external examiner moderator for masters and bachelors of different universities in Togo. I'm very pleased to have my brother and friend, Dr. Klute, to take over the floor. Doctor, please, you have the floor.
Thanks so much. Please, can you get me clearly? Because I could not really get clearly
it's
the...
coming now. It's coming. Now it's coming. Before it's not coming, but now it's okay. It's okay now.
Is it okay?
It's okay. Yeah, it's fine now. It's fine now.
Okay, thanks so much. Thanks so much, Mr. Kolegi, Alexis, Antoine. Thanks so much for introducing me such brilliantly. I would like to thank our country director, Dr. Kofi Agochi, for all that he has been doing for the promotion of education, especially in Togo, in our country, and in our universities. He's a giant person, and we really admire him in our country. I'd like to thank and salute the presence of Prof. Dr. Chaplain General Charles Iboria. Thanks a lot for being around to guide us and to give us instruction for us to go the right way. I would like to thank the presence of Prof. David Morondia too. All the profs and doctors around, Dr. Adi from Togo. Thanks so much, Mr. Joseph Obeng. Thanks so much for being around so that together we can build a bright future for our nations and our generation. The issue that is on the table today is upon gender equity, especially in our in my continent, because we are not all from Africa here. So Africa, I would like a little to talk about Africa, knowing that in Africa we have many regions and that are not sharing the same experiences regarding their cultures. If you take, for example, the northern regions, I mean, the Arabic region, that is Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, another country, Libya, we can say that these people have their own way of their own practices, which are not quite common to the sub-Saharan practices. And this is to say that their practices are much more influenced by the Quran, that is the Islamic principle, Islamic rules, and they have their way of dealing with their women, and they feel it that it is the best way to do it because it is in the respect of their religion. But I am much more interested in the sub-Saharan part of Africa when we're talking about the Black people, so, especially in Togo, Benin, and Ghana, the three countries that I much more know. And I would like to raise that issue in that concerning that region, I mean, those three countries. Women in the early beginning of the history that we know before the coming of the colonizer, because the three countries have been colonized. Before the coming of the colonizer, we have experienced, history have told us that the practices were not such rude towards women. Women were also accepted in the management of the society. But they were not given minor roles as we are taught today that they were given. But they were given roles of education, of roles of less risky roles. And men were given risky roles, strong roles, so that they can have a certain balance in the management of the household and the management of the society. I take an example, men were mostly soldiers, fishermen, and hunters. They are there to go and fight animals and go on the sea, go to war. And these are the jobs that are a little risky in the sense that they can easily die when doing their jobs. While ladies, they were given roles that were less risky. They stay home, taking care of children, go to market, managing the household, and educating children in the absence of the parents. And now, with the coming in of the colonization, there have been a shift. The shift has come from the fact that education, the formal education has come in, and a new standard has come in evaluating the value of a person. So from the coming of the colonization, the educated people, those that have gone to school, when I mean educated, I mean those that have been schooled, that has gone to school, that have degrees, have got a certain power, a certain standard beyond their fellow that have not got the same opportunities or the same chances. Once comes now the problem of what shall I say, of the crisis regarding the matter of the standard, the status, how to locate status, how to settle status of people. And then most of the time when these people, the formal education has come, men were, as they were supposed to be people that will taste risk, families were much more ready to send their male children to school to go and taste the risk that is brought by the white man and see whether it is a good proposal for them to know how to experience it. And then men have been much more educated. They have got to school, got degrees, got position in the government, got position in their private enterprises, and becoming powerful because education, the formal education is now giving them power, money, intellectual, and all these things. So this shift in matter of consideration of the social strata has brought what we call what the crisis in matter of the treatment of those that have not been able to have the same opportunities that are the ladies and our mothers and sisters and this. So I can say that that is to my view and to what I've read, has really brought in this crisis in matter of gender. Now, if we are to address this thing, I can say that if the formal education has been the shift, has brought this shift within this crisis, then we have to emphasize on the education, helping ladies, wherever they are, to have access to formal education. And when they have access to formal education, they have power, knowing that knowledge education is power. Now they have power at the same level with males that have the same, that have already acquired it. But I have to point out that in most of our country, the 3 countries, the level of literacy is not such high. Okay, we have on sometimes 53%, sometimes it moves from 50 to 60% in both 3 countries. And that is to say that every male, generally, there are 40 males that are 40% of males that have not yet tasted formal education. And if that is the case, it means that for ladies, it's a little bit worse. And then if you can, I can see that for the solution, especially in Togo, there has been, for the past decade, there have been many political decisions and regulations that are now helping ladies to get to school, to get the formal education by reducing the school fees, by freeing even the primary school and secondary school, and freeing even the exam fees, which are the governmental regulations that are really helping to promote education in Togo especially. And this is even spread in Benin and in Ghana, which is to say that the barrier counts only when one passes A level to go to university, because there is no more discrimination, or that they call currently positive discrimination, that consists in favoring ladies to have favoring ladies to have more opportunities and to have less fees to pay than males. So at this level, I think that it is a giant step that has been done in our countries to help this thing. But it takes also to go back to our villages, to not only to empower ladies, but also to inform them on their status and also their capacity upon what they can bring in for the building of our countries. And it should also be said that when talking about gender equity, it's not a matter of bringing male and women on the ring so that everybody says, I have power, I have power. Because whatever they say, we are together to build our countries, we are together to build our nations, and everybody should get the opportunity in order to work together. We should emphasize on the fact that it is togetherness that can make it, not individualistic positions. So when women get on power, the fear that men have sometimes, they say that men have to give power to women, it's on the fact that when women get on power, we have the risk to have monoparental houses. And when the risk of having monoparental houses and having a bachelor, it will not really develop demography, because the more ladies go to school, the more they get degrees, the more they have power, they have no time to take care of their households. And this is really impacting demography. While we know that it's demography that produces riches, it's demography that produces money, it's demography that produces development, not the contrary. Because in the life, if you just have a look at the world, we'll see that Chinese are more the population of the Chinese is very high, and they are also said to be the first superpower in matter of money, economy. When you go to India too, India is getting now a good position in development, in industrialization, in economy, because of its population, because the population consumes and the population produces. But if we have to raise this issue so that whatever we do in matter of equity, by empowering ladies, we have to make them know that their power is to contribute, not to fight, so that peace can be there and education may be settled. I think I am at the end of my presentation, my speech of the day. Thanks so much for following me. I really thank the National Director, Dr. Agochi, and the MC, Mr. Kuruji, for being together with us. And thanks so much.
Thank you, Dr. Kutse. Thank you very much. From your presentation, what we can keep is that much is being done. Great work is being done by our countries to promote gender equity, and more needs to be done so that we can achieve this objective, which is to make everyone equal and give the same rights.
Sorry. Can the second moderator moderate now?
During the 2019.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Because I'm going to move, so I'm going to give him the floor to continue. Okay. So Joseph Obeng, please, you have the floor to continue with the other speakers.
The National Electoral Commission, INEC, had erroneously declared the candidate of the People's Democratic Party the winner of the election, even though it took almost 7 months for the stolen mandate to be reclaimed.
Mr. Joseph Obeng, Isaac, you have the floor to continue with the next speaker.
No matter how fast a lie runs, the truth will someday overtake it. This development, no doubt, came to Igbo people as good.
It should introduce the second person. It should introduce the other speaker.
During the 2019 election,
Isaac Obeng, please
Is it
on
not
your
there?
mic.
Senator Hope was a Democrat, came as defined.
Yeah, on your
Your microphone, please. On your microphone, Isaac.
In the hands of a selfish leader who was hell-bent on instituting a family dynasty in Imo State by all means, ceding what is meant for Imo people to families and cronies.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
What is this?
And abandoned projects. The state civil service was nothing to write on about.
Isaac Obeng, you have the floor, please, to continue with the moderation.
A scenario where civil
Who is around?
3 times in a week, without luxury of a transition period, which most commonly left, using as a preparatory phase, with an empty treasury, with no handover note, with a disoriented and
Hello.
We are going to introduce Ambassador Professor Dr. David Morodia.
Hello. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay.
The presentation of Professor David Morodia.
According to him, it was sad to behold the sign.
I can't hear you clearly. That's the issue.
Well, we want you to introduce Professor Dr. David Morodia.
I can't hear you at all.
Please
Then
put up the noise behind you, Obeng.
There is no noise here at all. Please, who is the next speaker?
Your mic is indicating something is happening around you.
I wonder. There's nothing happening around me. It's totally quiet over here.
Let's continue. Continue, Alex. Continue.
Yeah.
Let me introduce now Ambassador Professor Dr. David Morodia as the next speaker. So His Excellency.
Consequently,
I wonder what it's all about. All kinds of nonsense. How come I can't hear?
Let me continue while waiting for Colleague Alex. So, allow me to introduce Ambassador Professor Dr. David Morontia. His Excellency objective is to impart on the field of human resource and project management with enhanced innovations as much as the changing world economic impetus demand. To also be part of a team that ensures effectiveness and efficiency in attainment of organizational goals and Ambassador David was born in 14 February 1968 in Nigeria, and he was brought up in life by God-fearing parents who ensured his qualifications are PhD in human resources and management, also a PhD in theology and missions, respectively. He also had 7 honorary doctorate degrees, various academic fees to his credit. So, Professor David has worked in many different organizations and also worked as a volunteer in many agencies, both in Nigeria and other parts of the world. He also participated he's a participant of the United States Institute of Peace 2012 and 2020 respectively. He received certificates of peace and conflict resolution. His current awards are over 70, and he holds 70 prestigious awards nationally and internationally. Just to name but a few: World Peace Ambassador of Goodwill, Goodwill Ambassador of Peace, Global Icon of Peace, and Global Peace Star, etc. His Excellency is married to a Togolese wife, Dr. Elizabeth David Morondia, and had 4 children together: Vivian, Vincent, Victor, and Valo. He is a widely traveled reader, innovative, inspirational speaker, loyal, dedicated, focused, and enduring. Presently championing the cause of peace throughout the world under the platform of World Organization of Ambassadors covering America, Europe, and Africa. Dear Professor, you have the floor.
Thank you, my brother and my in-law. It's a pleasure to come around again with these innovative personalities. I'm glad to be part of today's event. Profound thanks to the president and the founder of IIU. Kudos to your efforts. God will continue to honor you. To our African head and Nigerian director, you're doing a great job. I love your tenacity. That's why I'm always around you. God bless you, honor you more. And to all my friends in all African countries, God bless you for this intensification as a family to educate ourselves with our experiences. Today's presentation, I want to focus on gender inequality and remedies. Gender inequality and remedies. What is gender? Gender is either of the 2 sexes, male and female. especially when considered with reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. The term is also used for more broadly to denote a range of identities that do not correspond to established ideas of male and female, gender equity and equality. Gender equity is the process of being fair to women and men. To ensure fairness, strategies and measures must often be available to compensate for women's historical and social disadvantages that prevent women and men from otherwise operating on a level playing field. Gender equality is first a matter of social justice, allowing equal access to rights, resources, and opportunities. But it also makes our societies richer and more secure. In other words, gender equality is a condition of development and a matter of sustainable peace and security. What are the causes of gender inequality? Over the years, the world has gotten closer to achieving gender equality. There is better representative of women in politics, more economic opportunities, and better healthcare in many places of the world. However, the World Economic Forum estimates it will take another century before true gender equality becomes a reality. What drives the gap between genders? I want to give you 10 reasons. 1, uneven access to education. Around the world, women still have less access to education than men. Quarter of young women between 15 to 24 will not finish primary school. That group makes up 58% of the people not completing that basic education. Of all the illiterate people in the world, 2/3 are women. When girls are not educated on the same level as boys, it has a huge effect on their future and the kinds of opportunities they will also get. Number 2, lack of employment equality. Only 6 countries in the world give women the same legal work rights as men. In fact, most economies give women only 3/4 the rights of men. Studies show that if employment became a more even playing field, it has a positive domino effect on other areas prone to gender inequality. Job segregation. One of the causes for gender inequality within employment is the division of jobs. In most societies, there is an inherent belief that men are simply better equipped to handle certain jobs. Most of the time, those are the jobs that pay the best. This discrimination results in lower income for women. Women also take on the primary responsibility for unpaid labor. So even as they participate in paid workforce, they have extra work that never gets recognized financially.
Oh, I'm quite fine. I was calling to tell you that I will not come around 10 promptly, and to check if still I should come.
Please, Isaac Oben, mute your microphone, please. Please.
Because I'm at a conference meeting, I'll close at 10.
Please,
okay.
Oben.
I'll close at 10.
Mute
so
yourself.
If you are coming around that time.
Oben, mute yourself, please. They are distracting us.
Already done. He did it.
This is an academic conference. Any distraction can send us off balance. Lack of legal protection. According to research from the World Bank, over 1 billion women don't have legal protection against domestic sexual violence or domestic economic violence. Both have a significant impact on women's ability to thrive and live in freedom. In many countries, there is also lack of legal protection against harassment in the workplace, at school, and in public. These places become unsafe and without protection. Women frequently have to make decisions and compromise and limit their goals. 5, lack of bodily autonomy. Many women around the world do not have authority over their own bodies or when they become parents. Accessing birth control is frequently very difficult. According to the World Health Organization, over 200 million women who don't want to get pregnant are not using contraception. There are various reasons for this, such as lack of options, limited access, and cultural religious opposition. On a global scale, about 40% of pregnancies are not planned, and while 50% of them do not end in abortion, 38% result in births. These mothers often become financially dependent, or another person or the state losing their freedom. 6, poor medical care. In addition to limited access to contraception, women overall receive lower quality medical care than men. This is linked to other gender inequality reasons, such as a lack of education and job opportunities, which results in more women being in poverty. They are less likely to be able to afford good health care. There's also been less research into diseases that affect women more than men, such as autoimmune disorders and chronic pain conditions. Many women also experience discrimination and dismissal from their doctors, broadening the gender gap in healthcare quality. Lack of religious freedom. When religious freedom is attacked, women suffer the most. According to the World Economic Forum, when extremist ideologies such as ISIS come into community and restrict religious freedom, gender inequality gets worse. In a study performed by Georgetown University and the Brigham Young University, researchers were also able to connect religious intolerance with women's ability to participate in the economy. When there is more religious freedom, an economy becomes more stable thanks to women's participation. Lack of political representation. Of all national parliaments at the beginning of 2019, only 24.3% of seats were filled by women. As of June of 2019, 11/8 of states were women. Despite progress in this area over the years, women are still grossly underrepresented in government and the political process. This means that certain issues that female politicians tend to bring up, such as parental leave and childcare, pensions, gender equality laws, and gender-based violence, are often neglected. Number 9, it will be impossible to talk about gender inequality without talking about racism. It affects what jobs women of colors are able to get and how much they are paid, as well as how they are viewed by legal and healthcare systems. Gender inequality and racism have been closely linked for a long time. According to Sally Kish, a professor and author, European settlers in Virginia decided what work would be taxed based on the race of the woman performing the work. African women's work was labor, so it was taxable. while work performed by English women was domestic and not taxable. The pay gaps between white women and women of color continue of that legacy of discrimination and contributes to gender inequality. Number 10, societal mindset is less tangible than some of the other causes on this list, but the overall mindset of a society has a significant impact on gender inequality. How society determines the differences and value of men versus women plays a steering role in every arena, whether it's employment or the legal system of healthcare. Beliefs about gender run deep, and even though progress can be made through laws and structural changes, there is often a pushback following times of major change. It's also common for everyone, men and women, to ignore other areas of gender inequality when there's progress, such as better representation for women in leadership. These types of mindset prop up gender inequality and delay significant changes. What are the remedies? 10 ways to promote gender equality. Share household costs and child care equally. Number 2, watch for signs of domestic violence. Number 3, support mothers and parents. 4, reject chauvinism and racism attitudes. 5, help women gain power. 6, listen and reflect. 7, hire diversity. 8, pay and demand the same salary for equal work. 9, sexual harassment and racism, zero tolerance. 10, provide or request anti-bias training. I hope my presentation will help us in our fight against gender inequality. God bless you for listening.
Thank you, Professor David Morondia. Thank you for this insightful speech, especially your recommendations. I think it's for all of us to take note of these recommendations and make society a better place to live for all of us. So then Isaac Obeng, our moderator, are you there now? Mr. Isaac Obeng, are you there now? Sorry, then we have to move with the next speaker. Let me introduce the next speaker today. The next speaker is Dr. Adi Tilabalo. Dr. Adi is a teacher and a researcher, at the University of Okara, Northern Togo. He's the former head of the Department of English. He's also the former head of the English Master's Program. He is also a former scholar of the French government from 2014 to 2016. His major is African literature of English expression and didactics of the English. So Dr. Adi is a respected lecturer here in Togo, and we are blessed to have him here with us. Please, Doctor, you have the floor.
Thank you, dear moderator, for giving me the floor. Morning, dear all. Morning, members of the IIU board. I am Dr. Chilabalo Adi from the University of Kara. I studied African literature and especially gender issues in Anglophone African literature through the novels of Chinua Achebe and Mbochi Emecheta. In 2000, 11, I defended an MA long paper, what we call in Togo, matrice paper, on gender equity, that is cultural, on the cultural impingement to gender equity in African literature, in Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, and The Just for Motherhood by Buchi Onecheta. I furthered on with the same topic for the DEA program at the University of Lomé in 2012. And in 2016, I defended my doctoral thesis on the dilemma of female representation in both male and female writers' fiction, an approach to selected novels by Chinua Achebe and Buchi Onecheta. I'd like to emphasize also that I published more than 10 articles about gender issues, and I got also the chance to co-supervise 4 students in master's program at the University of Kara, where I work with Dr. Kuche and Dr. Bawakamapol to see to it that students get actively involved in gender matters. So it is a great pleasure for me to take floor this morning and give a small contribution about gender issues, because we still learn many things from the preceding communications. I thank you all for your brilliant contribution for gender issues. It's enlarged my field of research. So thank you all for your excellent communications. I'm not going to talk very long. The gender topic is gender, equity, and social justice. A very interesting topic, because when we take gender as said by Dr. Abochi earlier on, gender is socially constructed. It is a socially constructed concept, because we have sex and gender, and we have female sex and male sex. And on male sex, and according to societies, because as I said earlier on, gender being a socially constructed concept, so gender differs from one community to the other. What we call gender roles depends upon what a given society has decided to provide, or to say male should behave this way and female should behave that way. So we have the sex, which is biological, God-made. Sex is God-made. At the birth, we have male or female. And upon male sex, society decides to add some gender roles. And upon female sex, the same thing also is done. So we talk generally of gender roles. So sex is the very source of equity or inequity, of discrimination or inclusion. That is, as some author says, for a female, even being born female, the very date of being born female, your problems, that's your exclusion from some occasions or opportunities started on the day of your birth as a female girl. Because there are fixed ideas about male and female sex. So to understand gender is a little bit difficult, because it is not universal. Gender is social and depends upon, a given society, things people should be. So when we talk of gender equality, it has been a matter of feminism through some writers like Mary Wollstonecraft's The Vindication of the Female Rights. These are the very first books, among Betty Friedan, The Feminine Mystic, the very first not novels, critical works, or the very first scholars to put the issue forward and brought about what we call feminist studies, feminism or women's movements, in order to obtain or to achieve equality or gender equality or gender equity. So to say that the topic gender equity and social justice is within the context of feminist studies or feminist claims, because that movement is that movement which has done many things, and which still is doing many things to improve female condition. So when we talk of gender equality, it is because there is inequity. Inequity is, first of all, based upon patriarchal concepts. And unfortunately, those patriarchal concepts have introduced, politicians, programs, that is political way of managing countries, society all over the world have been basically patriarchal, because men and women were not, set on the same level. So there are things women are excluded from, like many domains, like even school. Even school at the very beginning, as mentioned by female husbands, male doctors and female husbands by that Nigerian writer, even there were schools for men and schools for women. That is schools for girls and boys. At the very beginning, boys were brought to school, while women were, that is ladies or girls, were sent to do other things to support boys at school. So this is the very beginning of inequity between gender roles. So all boys school, and progressively as time goes, they have introduced schools for females. And with feminist struggles, today we have mixed schools where we see both boys and girls. If we take the example of my country in Togo, for instance, even that example also is visible in many other African and elsewhere countries. We talk of chaminads, let's call it chaminade and Adele. This is how the first missionaries in Africa started the issue of gender inequity. So in the chaminade colleges, only males, that is boys only, were admitted. And furthermore, they created college adults for girls. Just to say that the issue of gender equity or gender inequity is a serious matter, is a serious problematic, which has been intentionally introduced at the very beginning with colonialism to create division among men and women. But today things have changed with feminist struggles, and we talk of gender equity. Governments, conferences like this one we are dealing with now, have throughout the world sought for solutions, ways, and strategies in order to contribute to social justice. Because when we talk of gender inequity or gender equity, let us mention that it is part and parcel of social justice. Social justice means justice for every individual, male or female, within a society. And if males are raised over females, this means we won't talk of social justice. So to reach social justice, humanity has to create conditions for gender equity for both males and females. If you allow that, I quote that woman of Florence Stratton in contemporary African literature and the politics of gender, where she questioned the idea of how could the things fall apart for whom they were not together, meaning that people said Africa was united before the arrival of colonialism. So this was not so because women were not part of equal opportunities. So when we take the concept of equity itself, taken as an isolated notion, is central to social justice. And as women do not enjoy equity with men in many domains, so social justice is to put into question. And to go forward, gender is a complex notion. We talk of gender complexities today because it's difficult to say that man is a man. Nowadays, it's very difficult to say Abochi that I am looking at is a male, is strictly a male. Very important because with homosexualities, with transgenderism, with lesbianism and transsexuality, that method which allows people to change, to move from male to female sex, or even to combine both sexes, renders gender complex. Complex because we talk of transgenderism. That is males wearing or acting or behaving like females and vice versa. So taken so, it becomes difficult to define gender. It becomes difficult to gender because gender seems no longer to be a socially constructed conception, because a single individual may decide from today's onwards to live apart his male gender that society has coined on him and elect to move towards female gender. So these are possible through what I call transgenderism, and especially transsexuality, that medical operation through which people use to change their sexual organs. And when we talk of lesbianism, homosexuality, you all understand how complex gender issues become. And even feminism also is even in a danger to disappear, because if individuals are free to choose their gender, because gender is no longer a socially imposed concept, then feminist studies will be will be greatly minimized, because if you elect to be female and you just accept to be excluded from some domains, you will simply not face the situation alone. So to move on in society, in African societies, when we try to create a link between gender equity and social justice, if it's not cared about by political leaders, that our leaders in Africa and elsewhere will bring about many other social conflicts. You can't imagine where lack of equity may lead humanity to. Today we talk of terrorism, we talk of violent extremism, and all those things, unemployment. I think these are to be linked to the lack of equity and to the lack of social justice. When there is no social justice, when there is no equity between individuals, that is opportunities, chances, natural resources of a country are not well distributed among its individuals, people develop what? People develop hatred. They are frustrated. And to make their ends meet, they fall into those on a social practice like terrorism. That is, they are easily recruited by terrorist organizations, and they put into question or they threaten you and I, our peaceful life that we only ask for. So gender equity, and social justice are intimately linked. You know, they are concepts we will not detach from one to the other. So we need equity, which is in the middle over there. We need gender equity. We need economic equality or equity, and equity in everything. Equity, I think in the term, equity is central in the topic and does not only deal with gender.
Please, Doc, you have 1 minute to conclude.
Okay. So I have a small conclusion. To conclude, I read something down. While the status of women has improved in regard to education, health, and life expectancies, society has yet, to fill the gender gap, because constraints persist all over the world, and women are still invisible in many domains like politics, employment, and so on and so forth. Thank you, dear participants. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, dear Dr. Adi, for this insightful information. You have enlightened us on many things concerning gender, even the modern issues of gender, which have been very eye-opening for me. These have helped me to see gender from another perspective. I don't know if gender issues will continue in the next 20 or 25 years, or how it will be. Thank you so much. Isaac Cobain, are you there now?
Yes, please.
Can you continue, please? You can introduce now Dr. Karishma. She's ready.
Yeah. So our next speaker is Dr. Ambassador Karishma Mani.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Very wonderful. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone.
Sorry, Dr. Karishma. Can you allow him to introduce you?
Yes.
He will introduce you.
Okay. Karishma Mani was born on 7th March 1990. Hails from Adipo, Kutch, and is gradually making a name in the whole of India with her not just her exceptional eyes, but the extraordinary talent she possesses. This young girl is not only recognized for her unique eyes, but is also making a name for herself by holding several records for the related. She holds 15 world records already, namely India Book of Records 2020, Asia Book of Records 2020, Exclusive World Records, Uttar Pradesh World Records, Assist World Records, Cosmos World Record, Bharat Book of Records, Star America National Pride Record, India Book of Records, Bihar Book of Records, etc. Not just this, Mani is also gathering name and fame by being an actress, as she keeps getting several offers as a model, actress, journalist, and a host. Karishma Mani is a reporter, actor, anchor, model, journalist. She's also a press reporter with GTPL Live, Gujarat News, as well as Ma News, Tehika News, Republic India Today News. Adding to her merits, Mani has been a gold medalist of Kutch in 2010 in English language. Till now, the young girl from Kutch has already worked in 2 films, for which she has also been bestowed with awards. She has also received an award for being the best anchor of Kutch and Sadi film actress. She's a perfect example of beauty and grace. Karishma, with her multi-talented personality does not believe to stop here, because being an anchor actress, model, journalist, world record holder, she's also a visiting lecturer in Tulane Polytechnic College, which is an engineering college where she teaches English subjects to students. She believes in humanity and social services. That's why she's associated and appointed with international posts with so many international organizations, like in TBC. She's an international model, national president of India, and international director of the Sri Lanka, which works for agriculture. That is, grows crops at home, organic concept farming at home. She's pro of DPRMI, an international organization of Nigeria, which works for peace moderator of YYCI. Karishma Mani is truly blessed and gift of God for India, as well as inspiration for many other women in India. Please, I present to you Karishma Mani.
Thank you so
Dr.
much,
Karishma,
Joseph.
you can talk. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. And I would make it my introduction very brief and send to my brother Charles next time, because it also consumes time to read such a long introduction. But thank you for beautifully presenting my personality in front of all the members of IIU. And yes, once again, a wonderful good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. And huge regards to my brother Charles, Dr. Coffee, and everyone who has given me the opportunity to present this beautiful topic on the platform of IIU. And yes, we are here to discuss the wonderful topic of gender, social, and equality. So, starting with the topic, I would invite some of the questions which you want to listen regarding this topic. Anyone has some questions on which we can discuss with the topic? Because it's only a one-way traffic, and I would always prefer a communicative language. So I invite some questions. If due to this question, I would present my presentation. Yes, anyone? Okay.
You would like us to ask you questions on gender?
Yes. I would like to invite some questions on that topic.
You can continue for now. Maybe later, question may come.
Okay. So yes, moving back to the topic of gender, social, and equality justice. So I would just start with a line that gender equality and social justice can be achieved if there is an involvement of boys and girls, men's and women's and children. So it's totally our responsibility to involve each one of them and to achieve this gender, social equality and justice. I believe that we should not, just keep on talking or debating on this. It starts with ourselves. The thinking has been biased from the childhood in our each and every minds about the male and female genders. Our first fundamental right says rights of equality. But do you really think the equality has been achieved? Do you really feel the equality has been achieved? No, because the mentalities are being biased from the childhood. Male can do this, female cannot do this, female can do this, male cannot do this, and easily blaming the aspects like the boys are like this type only, girls are like this type only. So I think there is the thing should be changed from our mindset itself. We have to first start changing our minds, not to be biased against the gender. We have to consider male and female as equal. Even there are lots of feticide cases still going on in India, like honor killing cases and all. Like a male can do several of affairs, or can keep several of girlfriends, but a female cannot do like that. And also such type of mentalities are still biased. And everyone has a right to live an independent lifestyle, an independent way of living his own lifestyle, and independent thinking and independent life. So it should not be biased in such a way. even in the matter of clothing and all, I'm just representing the thinkings I have been seeing in the societies and all. I'm representing that point of view. Even in the matter of clothes and all, female cannot wear short clothes because male will look them into such a way and all. So these type of thinkings are being biased. Many of the parents stops girl from coming home late night, but they don't stop boys coming home late night. So all these are the inculcation from the childhood. That's why the gender equality has not been achieved. So if we have to achieve the gender equality, we should start changing our mindsets. We have to believe that the person standing in front of us is not just a male, he is a human being like us. So I believe the things one should look at mirror oneself, and then he or she has to change his mindset or her mindset regarding this gender inequality, and give a contribution for developing the society. Even the parents should not distinguish between a boy or a girl. They should have been given equal rights and properties in timing, in individuality, independency. So I believe that they have to, one should start with themselves, from their families, from their mindsets, and then we should talk about the social changes and all. Because if we cannot improve our opinion, our mindset, then how we will change the society? If we cannot be happy ourselves, then how we will make people happy? So I believe the gender equality, first our mind should be clear that there is no male or female, there is just a human being, whether he is a male or a female. And if we have to develop the changes in our mindset, then only we should think about the society and bringing equality in the society. That's what my viewpoint is.
Thank you so much, Karishma. May
you.
I have a question for you?
Yes.
As a woman, how have you faced the issue of gender as you grew up? What were your personal challenges you faced as a woman, talking about gender conflicts?
I am a first female in Kutch having my own newspaper. I think that point is being skipped by Mr. Joseph, because I can understand it was a very long introduction about me. So maybe that point was a skip, but I'm a first female in Kutch to run my own newspaper. Okay. So there has been a biasness that a male can go for the fields of press reportings and all, and female cannot means that I have been working earlier into the press line, and now I have been starting my own newspaper, and I have been standing with them. Even the males support me too. Okay, you cannot blame every time the male that he is like that, or he is like a flirtatious nature, or even females are. Even females are. Both are equal. We have been, the thinking has been constantly inculcated in the minds of the people who are not from co-education and all, that you should keep some distances from males and all. They are not teaching their children to develop a good friendship and to develop a clean mindset against male. Whether the male can be his father, his friend, his brother, or yeah, but they are being inculcating, some rural areas have been inculcating in the mindset of the females that you should keep distance from males. Females can also be of that nature. Females can also be wrong sometimes. There is not only a male who are wrong every time, females can also be wrong. But I'm not against any female, but constantly blaming one gender continuously, and developing a mindset against them, asking for the difference or distancing from them, is not the things we should get inculcated in mind. So I believe both genders should be supported equally, and even the parents have to give equal rights to both the children, whether she's a girl or a boy. Even in the matter of timings in India, I've seen lots of people, even my students come, Like we are restricted to go, late night to some parties, or after 10 we have to come back home. But they don't say boys to, come back early to home. So that mentality needs to get changed. Even if they are wearing some short dresses and people are looking them with some, extra, the viewpoints. So they will tell girls to stop dressing like this, but they will not tell those people to stop commenting on them. This mentality has to get changed, right? And there are lots of things. Even if the girl turns to 22 or 25, so they will think of marrying with a boy or something. Let her earn, let her develop her career, let her be independent. Who knows what's her future? Who knows whether she will not divorce her husband or she will be forever? So teach them to be independent. Why are you demotivating your children to just get married and develop a family and all? Teach her to be strong, teach her to be independent, teach her to face the situation, teach her if any of the problem comes, then he or she should make a good male friend, or should develop such healthy relationships so that she can fight against those situations. So this type of thing should be inculcated, I think, in the mind. So rather than developing the society, one should develop their own mindsets, then only the social change should come. There's a line in Hindi, soch badlo desh badlega.
Thank
Okay, so I
you.
think it starts with individual mindsets.
Okay, thank you so much, Karishma. This is so
Yes.
enlightening, and it's so nice. We have two more speakers before we close, so we are already late. Thank you so much. Mr. Isaac,
Thank you for this opportunity.
you're welcome,
Thank you.
Karishma. Mr. Isaac, you have the floor.
The next speaker is Ambassador Dr. Anagu I. Augustine. Can I go on?
Yeah, please introduce him. Introduce him.
Hello?
You can go on, Isaac. Please introduce him.
Okay. He is from Nigeria. He is married and works with United Unity Environmental Rescue Organization as a global chairman. He has won the United Nations World Environmental Hero 2019, National President for International Human Rights Peace Global Council, VIP Natanala Ya Group India, Award International Icon of India, Relationship Coach and Family Therapist, International Coordinator, Environmental Conservation Organization, ECHO Sweden, Global Peace Foundation Peace Ambassador, UAE Dubai, Scientific Advisory Board Member, DK, International Research Foundation, Tamil Nadu, India, Nigerian President of International Nexus Organization, India, Security Management and Operations. He's worked with Conflict Management and Resolution, University of Ife. Please, fellow speakers, African head, colleague moderator, I present to you Ambassador Dr. Anagu Augustine.
Hello, good morning. Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
And
You're welcome.
good evening, according to your location. Very happy to be engaged in this discussion, which kind of advance our knowledge concerning humanity. Special thanks to my brother, Professor General Bhoria Charles, and all the teams of IIU. I am very happy this very morning because a vital issue is being discussed. Before I go into the topic about gender equality and social justice, I want to kind of through challenges that is facing me whenever I think of this very gender inequality. And number one of the challenge is how do we, or what can we do about customs and religions understandings on a woman? Because I will not be completely relaxed about this until I can see a Catholic church ordaining woman as a pope. And also, how can I marry it when I will see that in mosque, I will see a woman becoming an imam, whereby calling off for Sarah. And when I will see some certain rituals or certain rivers of pagans accepting women to come and conduct one or two rituals on a particular day. And then how can I also motivate women on this very understanding of their mentalities concerning whom they are? Because I can say that about 50%, let me just put it, of this very problem relies on women. Some other times, whenever you call a woman to come and do something, more especially in this very politics of a thing, or other things, the woman will say, you know, I am a woman, I cannot do it. And then she have already a kind of subjugated herself onto what we are discussing. In fact, she have judged herself and found herself unworthy to be equal with a man. And then what will I tell African parents? And how can I advise them that when they get either female or male issue, that the world and the family can move on? How can I tell them the family can move on without a male issue, male children? So all these are challenges that I used to come and think of whenever we talk of gender equality. And if I can go on gender equality in the first, is a matter of social justice, allowing equal access to rights, resources, and opportunities. But it also makes our society richer and more secure if you understand it. Because in a family like this, if you want to live a peaceful home, you have to give your woman or male or female children equal rights. I suffer one of the trauma or maybe a psychological trauma these days because one of my in-law was sharing his assets and he shared it to only the men and the women didn't get anything. And last 3 weeks or last 2 weeks, the first daughter died because nobody cares for her. They have a lot of things to sell, but all of them belong to the men. And I've been calling the men, look after her. They didn't do it until they give me a call that she gave up, all because nobody took care of her. So in other words, gender equality is a condition of development and a matter of sustainable peace and security. In your house, if you want to give a woman the best, she will give you the best. But let me tell you, all we are saying, even women within themselves, they know when they are being cheated, they know when their right is being given to them. When their right is being given to them, you will see them acting perfectly. But when the right is not given to them, even when the man will claim to be the boss of the family, my brother, you will expect your food to be full of either salt or pepper, because within them psychologically, they know that they are not being treated well. So for your own peace and security, you must do this. Gender equality makes our community safer and healthier. Unequal societies are less cohesive. They have higher rates of antisocial behavior and violence. Countries with greater gender equality are more connected. There are things that women can do better than men. Even I am telling them in Nigeria, my country, I believe that when women become governors, we will be governed well because they have that very sense of it. But the issue is that the inequality and about the gender have been culminated into our gene pool, that even the women themselves, they will be telling you that they are weaker sex. They used to quote it from the Bible, that they are weaker sex, that they cannot be able to do it. And then there are people of, you see people when they are healthier and they are of well-being, when there is, the workforce is combined of women and men. For instance, we have many doctors, we have many lecturers and the rest of them who are women and they are doing better. In my studies, some of the best teachers that I used to have happen to be women. But in other sharing of other things, you will see them being a kind of mahandrot. As far as understand gender justice as the full equality and the equity between women and men in all spheres of life, resulting in women jointly and on an equal basis with men, defining and shaping the policies, structures, and the decisions that affect their lives and society as a whole. Even women that are talking on this very topic now, even me, when I eat food with my wife, and at the end of the day, I will be expecting her to take the place to the kitchen. Even herself, even when I want to carry the place, she will say, no, leave it. It's my responsibility. When our mentality that men and women can live together with the whole equality, when will it be? Talk of driving. When we see a woman driving on the road, there's a kind of treat that we use to, a kind of, she don't know what she's doing. Why she know what she's doing? And some women cannot even drive far. They believe they have no strength to drive far, like a 200 kilometers. They believe that they can drive only inside the city. They have a fewer resources, less power, and less influence compared to men. And they can experience further inequality because of their class, ethnicity, and age, as well as religious and other fundamentalism. Achieving gender justice is not only a matter of basic rights, it's also key means of achieving fairer society and overcoming poverty. And we all have an equal part to play in making it happen around the whole world. If we are talking, let us put it into practice, or else what I'm saying, because what have already entered into our jimbo and veins, will take us more than 100 years if this will be eradicated. Thank you once again. I am very happy for giving me this very opportunity. Though there's no time, but I believe another day is coming. Thank you very much.
Hey, Jacob, are you there? Okay, I can continue now. Yeah, thank you so much, dear speaker, Dr. Prince Anagu Augustine. This was a very insightful speech. We learned a lot from it. You help us to reshape, to see the issue from another perspective. You put everybody like Karishma, you brought us to see, to share the responsibilities between men and women. It's not only about accusing men only. The responsibilities are shared, and women alike must do their best to play their role as a leader, not just to wait for men to give them roles and or to wait for God to come and change their roles for them. Thank you so much. Our next speaker, which I will introduce very soon, is Mr. Malebese Ishmael Selo. Mr. Ishmael is a teacher at Poguti Maribula Primary School in Limpopo Province, which is South Africa. His specialties are mathematics, science, and technology. He's the founder and the CEO of McCry Computer Academy and the Improver Lives Education Foundation. Mr. Selo has various awards and recognitions. Some of them are ICT champion and a chairperson of Poguti Maribula Primary School. He also has another recognition, Technology Enhanced Teaching and Learning National Teaching Awards winner. He's also 21st GG Scales Global Ambassador. He's also Global Education Network Office Executive leader. He's also a member of the International Internship University. He's a certified mentor by IIU, and he's also an executive board member of Global Trainer Academy, and various recognitions. He's playing a key role in his community, both in South Africa and abroad. He led a member of organizations including Inactus as a project marketing officer and the Black Management Forum as a chairperson, among others. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Ishmael Selu. Mr. Ishmael, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I definitely appreciate this opportunity. And first and foremost, I'm actually using two devices, a phone and a laptop, because the network on the laptop is unstable. So firstly, let me appreciate this opportunity and acknowledge the organizers of this prestigious event, the founder of IIU, Mr. Piyush Pandit, and the African head, Prof. Dr. General Charles Iporiauzolo. Today I'm here to talk about the topic, gender equity and social justice. Now, for a point of departure, women represent half of humanity, and we tend to exclude them from many activities and responsibilities because we still have the mentality that they are not capable as men. We see many women in different spheres of life doing very well, equal to the men, or even way far better than men. Women are having a vital and decisive role in the social, economic, and political development. They have achieved great success in terms of enhancing women's status in all aspects of life, thus enacting radical changes in the perception of women and their role in various and diverse fields. In particular, leadership and decision-making, specifically in the last decades, where women were able to chart a new enhanced path through their contribution and success. However, the international and regional contexts are endangering these achievements, as our societies still need to support the empowerment of women and capitalize on their capabilities and great potentials. Gender equity is a first matter of social justice, allowing equal access to rights, resources, and opportunities. But it also makes our societies richer and more secure. In other words, gender equity is a condition of development in a matter of sustainable peace and security. So it is first a matter of principles. Women are empowered. The benefits are perceived by the entire community, unlike men. Women are facing serious problems of child labor, human trafficking for sexual exploitation, and more seriously, violence. In my country, South Africa, GBV remains a deep-rooted problem. According to the South African Police Services Crime Statistics Report for the period of the year 2019-2020, more than 146 sexual offenses were committed every day, equaling a total of 53,293 sexual offenses, the majority being rape. These are only the reported cases, as many women, as far as we know, they are afraid of reporting such cases. So now the question is, how do we reduce the gender inequality? There are policies and measures to address the cultural and structural factors that help produce gender inequality. These steps might include, but are not limited to, reduce socialization by parents and other adults of girls and boys into traditional gender roles, confront gender stereotyping by the popular and news media, increase public consciousness of the reasons for, extent of, and consequences of rape and sexual assault, sexual harassment, and pornography, increase enforcement of existing laws against gender-based employment, discrimination, and against sexual harassment, increase funding of rape crisis centers and other services for girls and women who have been raped and or sexually assaulted, increase government funding of high quality daycare options to enable parents and especially mothers to work outside the home if they so desire, and to do so without fear that their finances of their children's well-being will be compromised. And last but not least, increase mentorship and other efforts to boost the number of women in traditionally male occupations and in positions of political leadership. I will conclude by saying there are a number of organizations that support women and girls, and many. In my proposal, I will say that we need to have organizations and programs that are meant for men and boy child. Boy children need to be taught how to be responsible from a very early age. Men should refrain from believing in a saying that men do not cry. Men too need a serious support. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ismail Suru. Yeah, thank you for your last point. It reminds me of a point I discovered when through my research. Like according to gender stereotypes, men do not cry, but women cry. And some men die because of that, because when they have to cry, they don't want to cry, they want to force themselves, and they don't know that this disturbs our body. I think Karishma would like to say something to make a point. Karishma, we are late, but I will give you 1 minute.
I agree with Smile that men too need support, and he is also in pains, and he too needs support. And he doesn't cry, but he too has some pains in his heart. But I would like to highlight one point that we are definitely talking about the rape cases and all that is or exploitation that has been occurring with women. Okay, but nowadays social media has been so strong enough that if a woman is being exploited or raped, she can do a Twitter jobs or she can spread this message in social medias if no one in the media or the police is not helping. The first point is that, and in the press line, I have seen many of the rape cases are lies. They are being pretending that they are being victim, but actually they are not being exploited, not being raped. They are being pretending they are being raped, but they are being having a relationship with that man mutually with the understanding, and the rape cases are being reported once they are caught. Okay, so like we are being actually being sympathized unnecessarily and being emotional towards the genders, like for male and all. Even see, in today's generation, the males are also being exploited in the workplaces. They are also being harassed in the workplaces. So I think it's we are being emotionally attached with the women's, and we are being pitting on their condition. But half of the rape cases are fake and lies, as I have observed in my press line. They are being mutually having some affairs or relationships with the men, and then they are once they are caught by their parents or their husbands or whoever from their family, and then they report the cases, and they are being kidnapped, they are being raped, or they are being assaulted. So I would just say that if we are talking about such rape cases, such victimized women, then one should, survey it with the truth that really are they being exploited, or it is just a game. The same thing happened with me when I, one day supported such a woman, but then I came to know the reality that she has been with the affair of the woman, or she has been with the affair of with the relationship with the man, and then she was caught by her parents and she reported that the boy has raped me. It's like that. So this mentality has to get changed, that you know, every time the reporting case or exploitation cases are always not true. If there is an exploitation, there is an exploitation of men and women both. And if there is no such exploitation, then there is no, men and women like that. So one should, survey with this truth. And yes, definitely we should also support men. There are not only the woman who cries and gets hurt, even the male get hurted too. So one should support male also. I believe so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karishma.
Thank you.
A blessing for us to have you around today. You know,
Thank
for
you.
this show, we know we should give the chance to speak. So three women, at least three women were on our list of speakers. You could see that, but sadly, the first two could not make it, and you are the only one as a female represent. I will not say representative, a female speaker here, and we heavily rely on you to balance the view so that it will not be only men's view on gender, but also female ones. And you rightfully and seriously played your role. We are so glad. I think society now needs people like you who will not be too Me Too movement people, because today when Me Too, somebody posts something about rape, everybody just support the woman and forget to investigate, to maybe wait and see if it's true or not, which is sad. Society cannot be at war against itself. We are all members of society. Everybody needs support, and every fact needs to be investigated. Thank you again. Thank you so much. Please, Professor, Professor Charles, I think I will give you the floor back to you. Yeah, Professor, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, my able moderator and country director. I appreciate every one of you, and I pray that God will continue to sustain our life, give us all the graces we need to continue to remain faithful to Him and do the work we are asked to do. Before I finish my statement, I would like our able Excellency Dr. Imina, who is the Women's President, World Women President, to come and talk to us and give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Professor Charles. Thank you, Sir Charles. All my respect. Amazing conference today. Amazing conference. It's my privilege to give vote of thanks. Congratulations, Team IIU Africa, Professor Dr. Chap General Eboria Ushilo Charles, PhD Africa Head and Nigeria Country Director. Proud of your work. We could usefully set an hour a day to teach children to know and love from the heart the right of human beings, this eye of God on earth. This is the words of Immanuel Kant, my preferred. The subject in question has been neglected and stereotyped for centuries. Lately, however, attempts are being made getting of nothingness, of plotting in adapting it to quality education standards. Legacy culture in this field is both rich and deficient. Its dependence on the perspective you are forcing and the optics by which you approach it. Ensuring gender equality in equal opportunities has become one of the major desiderata of the time. Even the main institution of socialization of the individual, family, school, of all levels, media maybe, it continues to circulate values and principles that are tributary to the patriarchal culture. Being a new concept largely known in our society, the principle of gender equality and giving chance equal is neglected in several areas, underestimating its social impact. To achieve successfully the desideratum in the society, it's very important to promote its efficient integration in the educational process, thirdly ensuring the implementation of some gender educational policies. Thank you. I was deeply impressed by your words. Only together we can create leaders who perform day by day heroic acts with great dedication, heroes who inspire with their power to give with intelligence that open minds that challenge people with questions to explore new horizons. No words to express my gratitude to our guest speaker for the day. You are all amazing. Thank you, Team IIU, for being so supportive. Thank you, Sir Peyush Pandit, for giving us this platform. If women do not have equal rights of family decision making, they will not be able to participate in condition of parity in the decision making in the social and professional sphere. Women will not be able to have self-confidence and will not be able to work effectively if they do not get equality in the distribution of obligation in the family. Let's encourage the child as the whole, helping our children gain confidence in them. It's not just about we encourage their behavior. We must also think about the spiritual traits that our children develop when we see that they possess a quality that we admire: generosity, kindness, sensitivity, determination, or anything else. We have to show them that we have not in it and we appreciate it. Our comments contribute to shaping the self-image that our children will carry with them at school, in society, and after all in their career. If we provide them with a safe and warm environment in which they can learn, we give them a chance to reach its full potential. Thank you so much. Don't forget, IIU is the change, IIU brings the change, IIU is the revolution. Thank you for this beautiful conference. I'm proud of you. Congratulations, Team Africa. Congratulations, Sir Charles. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President.
To be with you today.
Yeah, thank you very much. God will come to strengthen you for your good work, and we actually admire your work. The peace of God shall rest upon you and your family. Thank you very much. Just as he said, yes, IIU, the world first virtual internship university, is the change. And IIU brings the change. And IIU, the revolution in the education. Yes, kudos to my friend, Dr. Piyush. May God come to strengthen you for the efforts you have been giving us throughout the year. And I pray that God will come to sustain us so that we'll be able to be effective and efficient in our work, in our delivery services. Just as I said earlier, in order to sustain our future, there is need to always emphasize on gender, equity, and social justice, so as to achieving desired development outcomes of increased production, improve outcomes for poverty alleviation, increase well-being for all, and a fair distribution of burden and benefit in agriculture among women and men. May God come to strengthen every one of us that are listening, and I pray that as many that are listening, the power of God, the mercy of God shall locate us, and the grace of God, we shall come to do exploit. And we pray that God will spare our life also, so that by coming next month, July, we will also give the best. Thank you very much, my able brother, the Excellency Kofi, Dr. Kofi. May God come to strengthen you, all the speakers. May God come to strengthen every one of you and spare your life and your family. And all the listeners, God will come to empower us, so that next month we shall see again. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you, Prof.